Okay, guys, in your what this reading is about, you have the Eight of Wands, and I'm going to clarify what this is about so we can get a little bit more details. Because the Eight of Wands represents like quick movements. So I'm just a little curious as to what aspect this may be for some of you in your life. But of course, this could represent anything that's kind of moving a little faster for you at this moment. So that's in your what this reading is about. Then in your current energies, you have the Four of Wands. In your near future, you have the Two of Wands. And in your challenge regarding this situation, you have the King of Cups reverse. And what's recommended for you is the Chariot. But let me find out a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so you have the Teacher, which in this tarot deck, this represents the Hierophant. So I think it's very interesting. There's some type of either spiritual wisdom that you're trying to gain, or you could even be trying to help other people attain. I always see the Hierophant as he's very traditional. So this could even be aspects of your life that might be more of a traditional to society in a way, like I don't know, maybe going to school, going to college or getting married or something. It could be about like certain kind of traditional jobs, maybe more of like the 9 to 5 or whatever kind of aspects. But I also see him as a person that's really out publicly. So you might be doing something more publicly or trying to help other people publicly. And so this could be something along that lines. Whatever this represents for you, I think there might be some type of aspect within your life that is moving much quicker now, or it's picking up speed a little bit. You could have gone through a time period where things were a little bit, I don't want to say stale or just kind of stuck, but something within your life, within some type of traditional aspect. It could even be some of you might be buying a house because, traditionally, I guess you want to buy a house, for some people. So it could be something that's a little bit more like tied to kind of the society or the way things are done or something like that. So you take that how that resonates for you, but something with that is starting to move a little bit quicker. Now, the Four of Wands indicates that right now you're having success with it. So I think this is really, really positive, obviously, because it's success. So you hit some type of milestone. For some of you, this could represent kind of marriage as well, but I often see it as like something to celebrate, like a milestone or an achievement or something to kind of celebrate. So there's like a happy moment for you. Now, the Two of Wands coming in for you, I think you might be kind of starting to look beyond your comfort zone and seeing what else is there for you, or what do you want next? Because whatever this is, I believe you've accomplished something, or you've leveled up in some kind of way, or reached some kind of goal that you were trying to reach. But now, whenever you do that, now you're kind of back to square one again as far as the next steps of the path. So I think coming in for you, you're going to be trying to figure out what is next for you. What do you want? And how you're going to start thinking about how you're going to get that as well. Now, the King of Cups here, as your challenge with the reverse, this is saying that you got to watch out that you're not being moody. He's a little bit moody. He's not really in control of his emotions. There could also be a little bit of like manipulation going, so you have to watch that if it's you doing it or somebody else is doing it. That could even be like, let's say you did have some kind of hit some milestone or goal achieved or whatever, celebration. Maybe there's other people that are kind of like cranky pants about it or whatever. You know how that goes. So you might have to watch that. But what's recommended for you is the Chariot. So you just have to keep moving on. You got to keep pushing. The Chariot represents that you're going to hit up against obstacles, but you're going to overcome them. It might not be the easiest path forward, but you are able to overcome all the obstacles and you will reach your goal. So that's extremely positive for that. So let's see what else we get for you guys. Okay, first up, you have Eagle Spirit. Spirit has your back. And that's always positive. That's just obviously saying that you are protected at this time. You have spirit, your spirit guides, whoever, God, whoever, they're in your corner. And because I wonder for some of you if whatever this, after this accomplishment, I wonder if it might be also adding more responsibility to your plate. Because let's say, for instance, let's say if you're buying a house, it's wonderful, it's exciting, you bought a house, but now you have to take care of that house. You know what I'm saying? You might have more bills. There might be some type of accomplishment that you've been working for and you've gotten it and it's super exciting, but now it's adding more stress or more responsibilities to you. And I wonder if that's what kind of this Two of Wands is now kind of figuring out. You know, how do I do this with the house? How do I do that? And then this King of Cups, it could be a little bit moody and uncertain or whatever. But the Chariot is saying that you're going to figure it out. You're going to be just fine. But also with the Spirit has your back, I think it's just saying that if you're stressing about, like, don't sweat the small stuff in a way, you're going to figure it out. Now, Labradorite, see the magic. And that's really wonderful. And for some of you, I wonder if this kind of, because with the Eight of Wands, I feel like this kind of, to me, this might have been something that you were waiting on for a while, and then all of a sudden it started to just escalate or accelerate. And I think that's saying that there's magic in that, if that does resonate for you. And passion, insane chemistry, like each other equally, having fun. And I feel like that's with the Four of Wands. You're just kind of in a good place right now with this kind of fun energy. And you should enjoy yourself. Reconciliation, someone from your past is returning to your life. Now, I wonder if that could also be with the King of Cups, with the moodiness. Maybe there was somebody from the past that kind of makes you moody or makes somebody else around you a little moody. But to me, this also could represent that, let's say this Two of Wands, let's say whatever you did with this Four of Wands and you've achieved it, now you might have time freed up to do something else, something that you might have always wanted to do, but you never had time. It could be like, okay, when I'm done with this, one day I'm going to do this over here. So I think that could be something from the past is kind of coming back in, whether it's an idea or whatever it is, because you may even have time for it currently. And then we have root chakra, strength. Strength comes from your connection to the root of your being. And I really feel like the strength is really going with this Chariot over here, because the Wands are all about action and your passions and everything. And I think you have a lot of action here. And I think sometimes when we are taking action on something, we have to have like that inner strength. And with the King of Cups in reverse, you might be a little bit emotionally drained as well, because that happens. You know, you might be a little tired, you might be a little frustrated, you might be a little cranky pants, you know, it happens to all of us. But I feel like with the strength, that even if you are experiencing some obstacles or some situations kind of going on, you have what you need to actually get through it. And I feel like even with this, let's say if this represents something that's more like spiritual wisdom for you, I just feel like then you can just tap into that kind of spiritual wisdom or your faith. Like even with the Spirit has your back, because the Hierophant, he's all about kind of that spiritual wisdom as well. So you just might have to have faith sometimes. You just might have, sometimes, if nothing else, you just have to have faith. You know, you don't know how it's going to wind up. You don't know what's going to happen, but you just got to be like, okay, somehow I'm going to get through this and it's going to be okay. So that might resonate for some of you. And now we have twists and turns. Carefully made plans could be thrown out the window as major changes and interruptions surround you. Make sure you get lots of rest to cope with all the upheaval. So I wonder if I can't speak. I'm sorry. I wonder if that's going with the Chariot for some of you, because the Chariot, he's going to hit up against twists and turns. He's going to hit up it's probably going to be a mess sometimes what he's going to have to deal with. So for some of you, you might be kind of experiencing a little bit of that, kind of all of a sudden something out of left field comes, and it's why you're a little bit moody, because I'd be moody too. And society, say yes to all the wonderful invitations coming your way, excellent networking opportunities, and new love interests for singles will be the result. Now, for some of you, this Four of Wands could represent like celebrations and kind of like having things to be happy about. And so that could be tied to society. But the Hierophant, to me, he's very much tied to society as well. So that's very interesting that you got that. So definitely I feel there's something, and for some of you, like I said, this could be like a job. You could have got like a really good job, or even, an entry-level job, whatever. You got to start somewhere. But there could be something that you're celebrating. Okay, now we have breakthroughs. For a star to be born, it must first collapse. This is not your destruction, this is your birth. And then you have the Moon, time to reflect. Now, I feel like the Hierophant, to me, like he's gained all this wisdom and he's able to teach others because he's gone through the BS himself. That's the way I see these people. Because I feel like sometimes you are the best teacher once you've experienced the lesson, and once you understand all the aspects of the lessons. So I wonder if some of you, this Eight of Wands, whatever this represents, whatever is now kind of moving a little quicker, for some of you, it might be like a breakthrough for you, and you're excited about that because finally you're having your day in the sun. So, and I think with the Moon, time to reflect, I think if there's any kind of reflection needed, if you're getting a little bit frustrated because maybe you had a breakthrough, but now you need to kind of figure the next step out or figure something else out, and that's frustrating. You work so hard for one thing, finally you get it, and then you got to figure out the next step. It's like, it just doesn't end, it never ends. So you could be feeling a little moody, but I think reflecting is going to help you kind of reflect on, with the Two of Wands, let's say this person is looking out into this world that they're holding, and they are thinking about what's the next thing that they want to do. So sometimes when you reflect on the things that you've done, what has worked well for you, what has not worked well, what was a complete disaster that you're never going to revisit again, and what you kind of excel at or what you think you might like, I think sometimes that helps you steer forward, because you might have done something in the past that you're like, I hated that job, or I hated this thing, it wasn't for me. But so then in the future, if something kind of looks a little similar, you're like, maybe that's not quite for me, but maybe this other way is better for me. So I think sometimes reflecting will help you kind of stay on a path that's more comfortable for you. And especially because the Chariot, he's saying sometimes you got to take a detour or two, but you eventually get to your destination. Okay, now we have and fuzzy slippers. Peace, love, and yoga pants. And I feel like for some of you, because if you had a kind of a breakthrough and this having to have strength and everything, and this thing could be like a passion project for you, you're finally kind of having a little fun with it. I think if you are feeling this little King of Cups in reverse, a little moody, maybe some yoga pants will help that out. So that's good. And then something so right about that, keep your word. So I wonder, where was that other thing I had? Where was it? Where do we have something? There was something. Maybe I'm not. I feel like I had something over here that I don't know now. Hold on a second here, guys. Sorry. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. So here, sometimes it takes me a minute. Anyway, so I wonder for some of you, if, let's say if there's a situation from the past that's coming up with the reconciliation, even if it could be a situation, it could be a person, it could be anything. Anything's out there. So I wonder, depending on, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, but I wonder if there's something kind of coming back, and it may be causing this twist and turns a little bit with these carefully made plans being thrown out the window and interruptions happening. And I wonder if this King of Cups, you're going to be feeling a little moody about that. But I wonder if you had always, with the keep your word, maybe there was something that you always told yourself that, like, said, self, if this person ever calls me again, I'm not going to pick up. I'm letting it go to voicemail, or I'm going to change my number. So there might be something that comes up, because oftentimes I think when people have like victories, even small victories, sometimes, I don't want to say people like creep out of the woodwork, but sometimes it gives people that you haven't talked to in a while a reason to contact you, just to contact you, even though they might have been wanting to contact you, but they didn't really have a reason to. But now they're like, oh, so and so is celebrating this, let me congratulate them. And it kind of opens that door of communication again. So I wonder, for some of you, if there may be some type of door. For some of you, it could be a portal to hell. some person from hell from your past is trying to open the portal to contact you again. But I wonder if this keep your word, maybe there was something that you said to yourself in the past that, like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to entertain this, or I'm not going to pick up the phone, I'm not going to check the DMs or something. And to me, I'm just kind of getting that you might have to keep your word to yourself or to somebody else or a thing. So just, there you go. Anyway, the same boiling water that softens the potato hardens the egg. It's about what you're made of, not the circumstances. And I think that if some of you have been kind of going through challenges, I'm sure all of you have been going through challenges. We all here are going through challenges. I think this is saying that what you've learned about this situation, even with like the kind of the wisdom, because this might be something that's even causing you to grow spiritually, this situation. It could be actually beneficial to you. It doesn't feel like it during it, but after, when you take a step back and you reflect upon it, it might actually be somehow really like beneficial, a lesson learned, good or bad. Sometimes, you could take things from them though. So I just think you might be at a point that either you could go into this King of Cups energy where you're like Mr. or Mrs. Pissy Pants, or you could go into the Chariot energy where you're like, I'm going to overcome this. No boulder or obstacles too big. I'm getting over it. So I just think that that's the kind of energy that you can be choosing at this time. Now, let's see what Bob Ross has to say for you. That's a crooked tree. We'll send him to Washington. And I don't need to say anything. Let me read that again. That's a crooked tree. We'll send him to Washington. Yes. And some of you might be having a crooked tree coming back into your life with this twists and turns. Some of you might be feeling that in the reconciliation. So you got to send them to Washington in your mind as well. So anyway, or send them somewhere else. Delete them from the Instagram or the Facebook Messenger or whatever. So then we have talent is pursued interest. Anything you're willing to practice, you can do. And I feel like for some of you, if this, whatever this represents, your Four of Wands, your victory, whatever this represents, I really feel like some of you have been trying it for a while, and finally you kind of had that breakthrough, wherever that breakthrough was, and you kind of got to some type of level or success with it. But practice makes perfect. And honestly, nothing really comes easy. And sometimes you got to just try and try again. Now for your little affirmation card, you have today I am accepting. Today I will open my heart and listen with an open mind to new ideas and opportunities. So that's fantastic. Now for your little stress relief and self-care card, you have from caring comes courage. Objective, to be loving, kind, and compassionate. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Slowly exhale. Repeat to yourself, may I be kind. May I be happy. May I be safe. Repeat for others. May they be kind. May they be happy. May they be safe. And finally, may everyone be kind, may everyone be happy, may everyone be safe. I think this is so fantastic, especially because if you have somebody coming from the past, you got this reconciliation here, right here. May they be safe and happy and everything else and staying out of your business. But I definitely think this is really, really positive. That's really beautiful, actually. Okay, so for your spirit of the dish that shall be with you during this time, you have the spirit of the scoop, which is the spirit of the ice cream cone or the ice cream scoop. Now, for your dinner and a movie, you have American food and comedy movies. For the energies that you either need to tap into or be aware of at this time, you have Scorpio, and this is about transformation and major changes. And you also have Cancer, and this is about emotions and habits. You have the North Node here, which represents destiny and things that you're destined for. And you have the Sun, which is all about kind of ego, individuality, confidence, and kind of shedding light on stuff. You have the first house, which represents appearance, ego, interest, and the self. And you also have the fourth house, which is all about the home, intuition, parenting, and children. G T B N E I H 812. And you have Rudolph here. I forgot to tell you, you also have number 4 here, which means the special guest that'll be answering your question today, Geminis, will be Mr. Predicto. So think of those questions. Okay, so you have Rudolph here. Now, Rudolph, we all know him as the reindeer, the red-nosed reindeer. Anyway, so he, when he flies around, he has this, light on his nose. So basically, Rudolph can only see a little bit, in front of him when it's bad weather or whatever. So you might kind of have to be like this. You might have to kind of put extra work in, because Rudolph kind of put extra work in, and he kind of had to take the lead on everything. And even though people doubted him and they kind of said mean things to him, the other reindeers, they didn't want him playing the reindeer games and stuff. He kind of was like, you know what? I have a purpose. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm going to be good at the Santa sleigh thing. And he was kind of like the MVP without anybody even realizing he was an MVP. But I wonder if some of you are kind of feeling that. Maybe you were kind of the underdog for a long time, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, they put me in, and you actually excelled at something, and you showed everybody that you're actually good at this, that you weren't crazy, that you actually have a purpose in life. I know that's so dramatic, but you know what I'm saying? You actually did good. So I kind of feel like you just have to, even if you can't prove to other people, you have to prove to yourself. So that's what I'm getting with this. I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever, but that's Rudolph. And sometimes you can only see a little bit in front of you. You can't see, the Chariot, when it gets dark, he's not going to be able to see the full path. He can only see, I don't even think he has headlights on this thing, but whatever. So he can only see a little bit in front of him, but he's confident that he's going to get to his destination, even though I don't know if he has GPS or any of that stuff. But he's willing to try. Okay, let me, And you have wealth. So some of you might be kind of getting something that's going to give you some wealth or whatever. There might be something with wealth, or you're just feeling super wealthy because you're super happy at this moment. Okay, guys, now it is time. Think of those questions and we shall ask. Oh, Mr. Predicto, the most accurate prediction device to ever run off of batteries. What is the answer to Gemini's question?
Definitely yes.
He said definitely yes. I hope you all have a wonderful day, week, month, year, lifetime, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.